Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back. So I wanted to talk about the Daryl Dixon spinoff here, and I actually wanted to get into some stuff that Norman Reedus said in an interview with EW that he actually did, I think today or yesterday. I think the article came out today actually. So as always, I will leave a link down below to the article. Definitely go and check it out. I'm just gonna be reading a few things that he actually said about it. This spinoff here, I actually kind of get what he's saying about it in terms of the series sort of being a reset and just like the feel of the show actually just kind of, feeling like The Walking Dead, but it also being something a little different here. And I'm actually very excited for this show. Obviously, a lot of us are very excited for the Rick and Michonne television show, right? Like, obviously, that's the big one. But this series is going to be very good. Like, this series here, I think, is going to be the second best. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I'm just kind of going based off of how excited I am for each show, right? And Dead City, I do think that show could be really good. I just got to see a trailer still. I'm still excited for it. I'm going to watch it for sure. I'm going to review every single episode. I just want to know what the story is, right? Because with the Daryl show, at least we learned what the story is. Like, Daryl's out there looking for Rick and Michonne, and that's sort of the premise. Something happens and he ends up in France, right? So it's kind of a cool premise, right? It's kind of exciting. But with Dead City, I don't even know what happens. Like, I don't even know why they go to New York. There's so much that we just don't know yet. So before we go any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. The next thing on the list here, obviously for a lot of us, is Fear the Walking Dead, most likely. Although I guess technically in a month from now, the Rick and Michonne television show is going to begin filming. So that's sort of the next thing here that we're very excited for. Just sort of counting down the days and whatnot, enjoying the holidays and stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. I really cannot wait. And yeah, definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like that, because 2023 is going to be a very big year. 2022, if you thought this year was big, like 2023 is going to be so much bigger with everything happening. And let's start with talking about the Daryl Dixon spinoff here. So again, I saw this in an article from EW, so I'll leave a link in the description. Definitely go and check it out. I'm not going to be going through all of it here, but there's a lot of really awesome things here. And Norman Reedus basically said that, they're 3 weeks done at this point. I don't know when they did this interview, if it was like a week ago or something, or if it was more recently. The article came out today, but this interview could have been done like a week ago or something. But they've been filming for about 3 weeks now, which I think is most likely the first episode. I think each episode takes about 3 weeks, right? Sometimes it's 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks. It could be closer to 4 weeks. It really depends on the episode and how long it's going to take to film certain things. So as of now, they're probably done the first episode, which really does tell us that they're probably going to be filming this for quite a while, right? I think they'll film a little bit still, maybe a lot of episode 2 and stuff. Maybe they'll actually finish episode 2 this December before going on some sort of holiday break or whatever. Return after the first week of January or whatever. And then if the last 4 episodes take 3 weeks each, I mean, that's going to be 12 weeks in total, which is 3 months starting from January. So they're likely going to be filming this Daryl show all the way until April. They'll likely wrap around then. And that actually makes perfect sense, because if your show is premiering at the end of August, I mean, that gives you 4 months to edit all of it, right? To release a trailer and all that. And that's usually what they do with The Walking Dead, I would say. Like, it does take them a long time to actually work on an episode, right? Like, sometimes they're working on it. I remember Greg Nicotero said this actually not too long ago. Like, they could be working on an episode 3 weeks before it premieres on television, right? Like, that's just how long it takes to get an episode out. So Norman Reedus talked about some really exciting things here. He actually said that, this show is really, really exciting, and he really loves what they're doing. It's very epic in scale, and the tone is really good and different. It's very moody. He says there's a lot of history to the story. There's history in the walls around us. There's history in the sound of it all. It's a very different feel. It has the stuff that you want from the show. Like, I guess he means the main show, but it's just picked up and put in a whole other dimension. So that's what I'd like to hear. Like, that's what I want to hear from this. I want it to be like The Walking Dead, but if you're going to France and you're doing something different with it, obviously give it a new tone and stuff like that. Because I wasn't feeling the Commonwealth tone too much towards the end of part 3. Like, it just kind of got to the point where, like, first of all, some shots that you would see would be, like, really amazing. Honestly, it looked incredible. I just think the issue with the Commonwealth arc was, I don't know, there was just something to the tone of all of it. Well, a lot of it, too, is probably the fact that they do shoot digitally now, right? Like, they actually shoot digitally, which means that you're not going to have that old grainy Walking Dead look, right? Like they used to have. Definitely things look a little bit more crisp, which I think actually works. It definitely is something that does work. I just think if you combine that with where the story was at, and if anything, honestly, I don't even really want to say anything bad necessarily about the tone. A lot of it, honestly, is just mixed with the Commonwealth arc in general with the story, which was really just average for me, throughout the entire thing. Really, it was just kind of average. The whole time I was just looking for Rick Grimes clues, right? So the Daryl Dixon show here, I think is going to be something that is actually very good. I actually think this show can do a lot of good for Walking Dead fans. A lot of us have been really wanting I guess, a story that really does focus more on, I guess, more of a personal story, right? And just not have it such a big thing, like in terms of the Commonwealth, how big that story got with the amount of characters and stuff like that. I mean, if you look at the Whisperer arc, like, yes, there was sort of a big story there, but it wasn't as big as what it eventually got to, right? Like, it was definitely something that was very refreshing in season 9. Like, for sure, in season 9, it was just really awesome. And that's something that Norman Reedus actually does say here. He does say that, you know, this show is a reset. Like, you learn a lot of things after 12 years of doing a show. There are certain things that you just have to do because there's such a big cast, but there's not a big cast on this show anymore, right? So I kind of, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, that's what's really exciting about this show, is the fact that there's only going to be, I mean, I don't even know how many cast members. Like, I'm trying to think of the main cast, you know, honestly, it probably would be under 10. It's probably going to be like 5 to 10 characters for the most part. I mean, it's 6 episodes. I think we're going to have 3 main characters that are heroes. There might be other characters that are sort of side characters or whatever, like a couple of them. And then there's going to be villains who are also lead characters, right? So there might only really be 4 or 5 like main lead characters. So I think we're going to like this show quite a bit. Honestly, I do think we're going to like this show a lot. I mean, he actually says something in here that I really do like a lot. He says that people are speaking French around him, like around Daryl. And a part of Daryl's story is sort of him trying to figure out, like, is what this person's saying good or bad? Because he doesn't speak French, right? So he doesn't know what they're saying. And I like that. I like the fact that there is that element to it. And the characters that he might meet might not speak English, right? So there's going to be some interesting aspects to this. I mean, I will say the fact that he did say that, at least in my opinion anyways, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm just saying, like if he's saying that, like, people are speaking French around Daryl and he's wondering if what they're saying is good or bad. Like, am I in danger? Because they've been filming for 3 weeks, I'm guessing that's the first episode. So I think we're going to see a lot of this here in the first episode, right? Really, that first episode is what I'm most excited about here. That's kind of, I think, what he's essentially teasing here is this first episode. It's really just like, you know, the shock of waking up in France after, you know, what happened on The Walking Dead. He was out there looking for Rick and Michonne. And then now what, right? There are some missing pieces here that I'm really curious about, like, why did he end up in France? That is something that will be revealed in season 1. I've heard people talk about that. Like, I don't know who said it, but someone who was working on the show said that what the show's really about is Daryl wakes up in France and then he's just trying to figure out how he got there, why he's there, and whatnot. And so I imagine that's going to be a reveal probably in the finale. But yeah, I'm just very excited with this. And I think the key to this, and I'm just going to say this now, I think the key to this show's success really is connecting all the shows together in some way. Like, that is the key to all of this. I think if you keep this a spin-off just on its own, literally just a spin-off on its own, not really connected to anything else, you're not really connecting any of the story to the Civic Republic and all that, which is sort of the main arc in all of this here, I think these shows won't be that successful if you're not doing that. Like, I think you have to do that, right? Like, people want this to be sort of a cinematic universe, right? And that's essentially what has sort of been talked about a lot, right? Like, it's the Walking Dead universe. It's growing, and, you know, there's going to be all these connections here and there. You might have some crossovers here and there. That's kind of what you have to do because that's what people want. Like, that is literally what people want. People don't mind watching Daryl, you know, in France and meeting new characters and doing some fun stuff there. But I think the overall story needs to somehow lead up to what's happening with Rick and Michonne, right? Like, there has to be something in the end that is like CRM connected. Maybe a reveal that Jadis was the one that took him there or something like that, right? There needs to be some sort of reveal like that where it connects everything and everything makes more sense. And this way everything's exciting. If it ends up just being a random spinoff, completely disconnected, he ends up over there for a long time, like a couple of seasons or something like that. Like, again, I think people are going to have some pretty big issues with that. And so I hope that things go really well over the next couple of seasons here. I imagine that's what they're going to do. Like, I think that after the first season here, if these shows aren't that good or something like that, like, I think for season 2, they're going to change everything up right away because I think they really want these shows to succeed. Obviously, it's The Walking Dead. Like, it's their biggest franchise. They want this to succeed. So if there's certain story ideas that, you know, people want, and again, the fans really want, like, this Walking Dead universe, they want these crossovers and stuff, they want these things to feel very epic in scale, you kind of have to start doing that at this point. I think we've been waiting long enough. There was some stuff with Morgan and Dwight, but again, back then, I still stand by what I said. Like, having those two characters taken off The Walking Dead, definitely, like, I hated it. Even to this day, I wish they were on The Walking Dead, right? But now that The Walking Dead is over, I'm okay with the fact that they're on Fear the Walking Dead, but I want some of them to eventually go to the other shows, right? I want Dwight to go to Dead City. I want Alicia on Dead City now. Like, there's so much you're able to do here. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to talk about the Daryl Dixon show here. So I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.